This is going to be a bit of a response video to I'm 28 years old, broke, and still living with my parents. For the last 26 or 27 years of my life, I was indeed living in the Matrix. And it's only relatively recently that I had this awakening that I took the red pill. Once you take the red pill, you can't go back. I don't think I can ever forget the things that I've learned and the growth that I've had in the last year. And even though I'm still not certain of how I'm going to get to where I want to be, exactly how, like no one has a plan. Everyone is just kind of winging it a little bit. Things are starting to position correctly. There is hope for the first time. It's like when the rug is pulled out from under you, when your blindfolds are taken off, it's the initial shock, and that's what the last video was. That's what my 28 years old and broke and living with parents video was all about. It was kind of the realization that this isn't it. Working a 9 to 5 isn't it. And even though I did everything society told me to do and saved money and did this and did that, I'm still no closer to buying a house. All I've got now is a Hail Mary with this modeling thing and the Instagram, YouTube, like trying to grow an influencer, trying to be an entrepreneur, because that's the only way I'm going to have any sort of semi-decent life. And there were quite a few things that led me to make this realization. One of the first things was the other week I went to Wagamama's, and a couple of years ago a chicken ramen was £9.99 and now it's £14.99. That's a large increase. That's inflation. And guess what? Has my 9 to 5 wage increased by that much? That same percentage? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. How are we supposed to keep up with the cost of living crisis if inflation keeps increasing? Working a job, you can sort of try and take the blue pill, try and funnel everything out, listen to some of these comments that are saying you need to work a 9 to 5, yada yada yada. Fine, like whatever. You can have your opinion and the boomers can have their opinion, and if you're 40 plus, that's fine, but I'm not going to take advice from you. One of the key life lessons that I've learned is to not take advice from people who aren't living the way that you want to live. So if you're not an entrepreneur doing what I want to be doing, I'm probably not going to take advice from you. If you're not a male model or supermodel who's successful in the industry, then I'm probably not going to take advice from you. Why would you take advice from someone who's not done what you're doing or what you want to do, right? But yeah, I appreciate that video came across quite negative, and it wasn't meant to be negative. It was meant to be a realization of, oh my gosh, this is the way I'm living, and if I don't do something, if I don't make a jump, make a leap right now, then I will be stuck doing the same flipping thing for the rest of my life, and that is not what I want to do. And I just realized the futility of the profession that I was in, which is working as a physical therapist, which is rewarding, but you kind of stagnate at a certain level, and I've reached where I want to be, which is a senior physical therapist, and there's not many options. I can either go back into the National Health Service, or I can start my own practice, and it's more likely I will go towards my own practice if I want to do more like that kind of stuff, but we'll see where my entrepreneur journey leads. I'd like it to be online because I want to travel the world. I want to go and see places, work from my laptop in a coffee house in Spain. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be stuck in some clinic 7 days a week working long hours. Right, even if it is my own business, I want to be able to travel. You only get so long on this planet to see things, and I don't want my view to just be my office. That being said, a little side note, I've actually booked 2 modelling jobs, and what I've worked out is that those 2 modelling jobs, one half a day and 1 full day, is going to pay as much as my monthly wage that I'm working my arse off in a physiotherapy clinic. That's crazy. So that is my sign to go on, and that's my sign that has confirmed to me that I am meant to go for modelling. I'm going to go full in modelling next year and influencing and content creation. Because I wasn't sure. I I hadn't seen any progress. I hadn't booked any jobs for the last 10 months, right? So this video is more about like hope, right? I had this awakening. Now I'm here. Now I can never go back to sleep. I can never take the blue pill, go down that road, because I know where it leads, right? There's that scene in The Matrix where Trinity says to Neo, you know where that road leads. You know where the blue pill leads. You've taken the red pill. You can never go back. I can never go back to believing that I can just work a 9 to 5 and work for like 40 years and retire at like 70. Maybe live for another 10 years before kicking the bucket. What's the point of working your entire life and the time when you have the most money and you can retire and you can enjoy your life, you're like 70. Your bones and your joints and your muscles barely work the way they used to. Not really any point, is there? The time when we need the most money is when we're young, when we have the life to live it, when we have things that we want to do, and follow like what you're passionate about. Stop living for other people's dreams. Like for most of my life, I've been living for other people's dreams, like what my parents wanted me to do, what I thought society wanted me to do. But none of this shit made me happy. I realised the thing that makes me happy is the process, is the journey, is the pursuit of working towards something. Every time I create a great video that gets views, every time I create my ebook projects on my main channel, I have an Etsy store, right, an online Etsy store, and every time I sell something, that gives me joy. Every time I book a modelling job, which is only 2, but that gave me joy. Anytime I do like a photo shoot and create art and network with people, that gives me joy. You need to find like what gives you joy and pursue that with everything that you've got. There is absolutely hope. There is always hope. It's not hopeless. If you're in a similar place to where I was, then just have this realization that when you take the red pill, there is going to be that initial shock, right? You're going to be like, I wasted my life and or whatnot. You feel like you wasted the last several. It's just how I felt, man. I felt like I wasted so much of my life. I was like, why couldn't I have this flipping awakening 7 years ago? I would be flipping probably like a millionaire by now, or at least financially independent, like 10k a month plus, because I would have put together everything for the last 7 years. I would have worked my ass towards it. And instead of just cruising along thinking, oh, I'll just like get more experience, or just work as a physio in healthcare, like, I'll just kind of meander. 7 years of good experience, I don't regret it, but it could have been far more efficient. I could be so much more further along, I could have had the awakening earlier, but everything happens for a reason. And the fact that I've had this awakening at 28, it's fine. I have time to get to where I want to be in my 30s, or late 20s, starting now, work my arse off, late 20s, 30s, and by the time I'm married and I have a family, I will be able to provide for them. Because that's not going to happen with a 9 to 5. It's just not going to happen. If I pursue this entrepreneurship journey, if I throw a Hail Mary, I'm going to get to... Hail Mary needs to be thrown, this like... That's what they call it, no, swinging for the pitches, right? In a fight when you're losing the fight against life, and then you throw a Hail Mary, and you hit the jackpot. That's essentially what I'm doing with this entrepreneur journey. It's always a risk. Success is not guaranteed, right? It's time to change my life. It's time to change the world with the work that I do. And I want you guys to know that it's never too late to change your life.